Okay, we're cutting across live now to the Isro, where it is all set to launch the X-ray Polarimeter Satellite, which is the XPoSat, India's grand and historic space launch on New Year, the world's second polarimetry mission.
Stage of PSLV. This being integrated with the core motor, and 2 stages are ready. Here, the PSLV is being transported in its semi-integrated condition from the PSLV launch integration facilities to the mobile service tower.
आपने देखा प्रथम चरण तथा द्वितीय चरण का समायोजन पूर्ण कर यह तृतीय चरण को तथा चतुर्थ चरण को एक साथ समायोजित किया जा रहा है। इस समायोजन को MST मोबाइल सर्विस टावर पर लाया जाता है। सभी कार्य पूर्ण कुशलता तथा दक्षता के साथ संपन्न किए जाते हैं। यह है हमारा PSLV C58 का उपग्रह XPoSat। इसमें 2 मुख्य निदभार हैं, जिसका नाम है XSPECT और POLIX। पूर्ण परीक्षित कर।
Right, so as we stay live with those pictures coming in from Isro, my colleague Pramod Madhav is now joining me with the phone line. Pramod, what can you tell us about this new mission?
So this is a very important. We have been starting to explore the moon and the sun. Now we are going to the very important like things called the cosmic sources, such as black holes, like large neutron stars and like supernova. These are things that are like not even comprehensible to a normal human being's mind. So these are that kind of objects that we are going to explore. And this is where we are going to use 2 kind of sensors in particular in this XPoSat, which are going to actually read and collect data about the X-rays, and that's why it's called XPoSat, X-ray Polarimeter Satellite. And the main thing is that they are going to also read about the X-rays that are being emitted by a neutron star. That is like a star, that is a core that is being left out after an explosion of a major star, or a black hole, which is when the entire star collapses, it turns out to be a black hole, or like the actual kind of explosion that is called as a supernova. So these are like extremely powerful cosmic things, and from there we are going to collect data which will be used for various we can actually go ahead and detect, get information about the origin of space, or like how these cosmic beings actually react to the surroundings. So this is something completely out of the beings ideas, but Isro has gone ahead and almost competing with NASA. Now we have started to go ahead and this is the 3rd one that Isro has created. Only we had AstroSat, and we also have Aditya L1, which we are expecting to reach the Lagrange point on January 6th. So that is going to observe about the sun and the way the characteristics of the sun. And right now, after finishing an asteroid, a planet, a moon, and a sun, now we are going to much higher beings like the black hole.
Okay, so a very ambitious mission there by Isro. Isro is to shortly launch the X-ray Polarimeter Satellite, which is called the XPoSat. It is India's grand and historic space launch on New Year, the world's only 2nd polarimeter mission. The Indian Space Research Organization, in fact, will be launching the XPoSat from the first launch pad of the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota. In moments from now, the countdown is progressing smoothly, as you see on your screens right now. Those images that are coming in from Isro live this morning. A PSLV DL rocket will be used to launch the satellite into an eastward low inclination orbit. Pramod, I believe, is back with us. Pramod, you were telling us about the significance of this ambitious project.
It absolutely is, and we are going to use this PSLV, the workhorse, and it's going to be the C58, and it's a 60th mission from ISRO, and behind us we have both the SLP and the FLP, but like once a rocket is launched, we can show it exactly because it's been completely covered with mist. It's a wonderful day. Imagine starting the new year with such a launch from ISRO, that too with the workhorse itself. The payload's going to be 469 kilograms, and the rocket should be around 44.4 meters tall, and the thing is that, just like we mentioned earlier, this is something much more advanced, much more important. And like earlier we were speaking to scientists, asking them why they decided to go ahead with only kind of like instruments that can detect X-rays. So we were given information that currently the instrument cluster that is available with like a high technical value would be that these kind of like sensors and measures that can go ahead and detect these X-rays. And so what they're planning to do is that these X-rays will be sent through a medium and they will be polarized, which means the magnetic field and the wavelength will be in a kind of like a synchronous manner, which can be easily detected. And what they're trying to do is that between a certain value, they want to detect these X-rays from the source itself. And the source is a very important aspect, because that's going to be a black hole or a neutron star or a pulsar. A pulsar is a rapidly spinning neutron stars which also emit a lot of radiation, and a supernova, which is like an explosion during kind of when the star explodes. So these are things, imagine like the kind of research that was NASA doing, and now ISRO has also become one of the main important a kind of a contender, going ahead and reading it. In fact, we don't know much about black holes in the sense itself, because even light cannot escape from a black hole, and we are going to planning to read the emission from there, and that is why this mission is not just important for India but for the entire world.
Okay, so this mission isn't just important for India, as Pramod is telling us, it's important for the entire world as well. The study in itself, very ambitious. What are, the scientists over there telling you in terms of what are they expecting to learn from this mission?
Well, certainly, we are going to have two important sensors in the payload. One is called as POLIX and the other one is called as XSPECT. And these are the ones, also there is another private institute which is also involved from Bengaluru called as Raman Institute, and they are the ones who have gone ahead with ISRO and they have created these sensors. The main aspect is to read about the X-rays that are being emitted by these cosmic sources. And when we claim cosmic sources, these are much bigger than our own sun, sun, the star. These are much bigger than that, and the important aspect is that imagine a star with a certain mass. If it is below a certain mass, it turns out to be a neutron star, which means that the entire star explodes and the core starts spin rapidly in such a manner that the entire atoms inside that core began to break and the neutrons turn out to be a cluster, and that's why it's called as a neutron star. This also emits a lot of radiation, and if this neutron star starts spinning rapidly, that is called as a pulsar, and it's a very beautiful thing to see, because a pulsar will have a kind of
we're going to cut across Pramod now, live to those moments. The countdown has begun.
Nominal flight timelines for the PSLV C58 XPoSat mission. At T0, which is scheduled at 9 hours 10 minutes, the first stage PS1 ignites, and followed by the ignition of the two strap-on motors 400 milliseconds later. The strap-ons continue to burn for 70 seconds, after which they are separated from the ongoing launch vehicle. The PS1 stage, that is the core S139, separates 109 seconds into the flight. By this time, the launch vehicle would have gained an altitude of 57 kilometers and acquired a relative velocity of 1.6 kilometers per second.
All subs sound.
The stage 2 ignites after PS1, continues to burn for 152 seconds. Operational time for PS3 is 124 seconds. PS4 will operate for 247 seconds. Then the injection parameters will be achieved.
Real-time programs activated.
Minus 25 seconds. VSPP opened. Minus 20 seconds. Minus 15 seconds.
प्रमोचन से 15 सेकंड की दूरी पर
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
bright morning of the New Year's Day made brighter by a majestic liftoff. PSLV C-58 carrying India's X-ray Polarimetric Satellite towards its destination.